Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. If you are enjoying this show, you can also check out the Premiere Boys Podcast, hosted by myself, Aaron Keatok Sands, the Star Rider Rod, and Long Live Chief Mighty Mal, where we discuss everything that's going on in the culture, from love, relationships, music, sex, politics, and many more. We can make you laugh, but the show could get a little raunchy, and it may not be for everybody. But if you are curious to listen to the Premier Way podcast, you can tune in to the Premier Way podcast every Wednesdays at 12 a.m. or all podcast platforms, a part of the Premier Powerverse Network. Other shows that you can check out on the Premier Powerverse Network is King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron King Talk Sands every Friday at 12 p.m. Star Time Podcast hosted by the Star Rider Rod every Monday at 12 p.m. And Welcome to the Trilogy hosted by Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Listen and support every show in the Premier Powerverse, including this show, Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, who is also a part of the Premier Powerverse Network. Thank you for listening to this message and check out the show. Chill! You are now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Season 9. Chill! Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, one fourth of the Premier Boys Podcast, and your host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And welcome to another new episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Hope all is well. On this episode, we have our special guest. He is an entrepreneur, he is a podcast host, and he is the host of Visit Vegas Places with Coyal. And we're going to be discussing about the podcast, entrepreneurship, life, and many more. I was on his show earlier this year, and I'm happy to have him on our show now with an amazing conversation. And y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back.
What is up? It's Rena Friedman Watts, host of the Better Call Daddy Show. And I am so excited to be here with Ken of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. You guys are in for a treat.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, it's time for Mr. Gentleman Facts, quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is always move forward. And I say this because always move forward, because life is not about looking back. Life is about moving forward. You can learn from your past and not repeat the same mistakes, but it's always about moving forward and seeing what is ahead. And that is today, Mr. Gentleman Facts, quote of the day. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. On Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, we interview many guests about their life journey, pretty much where they come from and where they're at now. Also promoting their brands or whatever they're doing at the time they come on the show. We also have the host talk about personal stories about himself and everything that he's been through. And also we have fun conversation about anything music, anything old school, relationships, wrestling, and many more. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays at 12 a.m. We are also on every Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Spin-Up Series Thursdays, where we have all of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast spin-off series all in one day, where we have a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Rider Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And we have Date Night Talk podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays at 12 a.m. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, The Pods, and many more. Or y'all can check it out on the official website of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlikethatpodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlikethatpodcast.com, and tune in every Sundays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to this commercial break of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Cheer!
What's up, listeners? My name is Coyal with Visit Vegas Places with Coyal, and you're listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast with my brother Ken.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I got my special guest. He is an entrepreneur. He is a podcast host. He is the host of Visit Vegas Places with Coral. And I was on his show earlier this year, but I'm happy to finally have the bro on my show. We got Coral in the building. Coral, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for coming on the show. And it's been definitely a long time coming. Yeah, let's do this.
Yes, sir.
There goes. But before we dive into everything with you, we're gonna do some icebreaker questions. So let's start with where are you from?
Okay, so originally I'm from Los Angeles, California, the West Side. I came here in Las Vegas 21, going on 21 years ago. So I've been here in Las Vegas 21. It was just dust, not too much. Basically, casino ran. But yeah, I've been here 21 years, man.
Nice. And we're gonna dive more into your love for Vegas in a few. But how would you describe yourself as a person? Give me 3 words.
3 words: gregarious, communicative, and also loving. Very generous. I add that on too.
Nice. Those are good choices, bro. Those are good choices. What is one thing you like to do for fun?
Chill with my family. I love to have my family because our boys, they're grown. So when I have everybody together, that's like the most beautiful thing, man, to see the family I built. So just being with my family, my wife, the kids, and just going out, that's like one of my favorite things.
You ain't no family is a beautiful thing. So shout out to you for that.
Yes. Appreciate it.
And what in your headphones right now? It could be an album, a song, or even a podcast. What are you listening to right now?
Oh, right now I just got through. It's funny you said that too. I was listening to. It's a new song. I've been having it on repeat, and that it's a spiritual song though, and her name is Emmy. It's called He Did It. Evie McKinney. That's her name. Evie McKinney, and the song is called He Did It. That song right there has been on rotation for the last like 3 weeks.
That's dope. I'm gonna have to check that out myself. So let's talk about the beginning of life. So how was you growing up?
Growing up, let my parents tell you, I was a little mischief. I was kind of bad growing up. I'm the oldest of 2 boys, just 2 of us. So the oldest boy, 2 of all the grandchildren on both sides, my mom and my dad's side. So growing up, I really did a lot of things just to experience. I was very experimental guy. I wanted my hands into everything. Always been creative though, so always been creative, and I had a love for music growing up. My mother loved music; she taught me how to write music. So as growing up, I always loved music, but almost in a sense, my parents, which are boomers, mostly like let me do just about anything. I mean, they were pretty strict. Of course, I had consequences, but at the same time, they still gave me the leeway to experience life, to be a man.
And that's good. And I could relate to music because I love music too. Before the podcast, music was always my first love. So I definitely could relate to that. I used to do a lot of songwriting as well. So I could relate to that 100%. And how all that you've been through made you the person that you are today?
What I've been through that made me who I am today is a lot of like trials and tribulations. The Lord's definitely brought me out of bondage. Keep in mind, I was a teenage father also. So I had my first son at 17 going on 18.
Oh
And then
wow.
my father's side of the family, my auntie Becky, rest in heaven, she really like helped me. Like she did everything, before I could really become a man and know and understand how to be a good father. So,
Mm.
that made me who I am as a grown man, being married with kids with my wife, to understand where I faulted, where I had made mistakes, and I was disciplined enough not to repeat those mistakes to make sure I don't hand that down to them.
And that's a good answer. And you killing it, Cole. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing
No
that.
problem.
And so now that we're gonna dive into something now. So what inspired you to get into entrepreneurship, and what made you want to go that route?
Entrepreneurship's been with me from day one, man. From when
Mm,
I was a kid, my first job was a newspaper route for the Daily Breeze in the South Bay in California, and that was almost like not a job. That was my first experience of like running your own business because you take on contracts of how many paper routes you do and all that. But I did it all on the bike. But from there, I always knew I couldn't work for nobody. It's like I didn't. It wasn't like I couldn't obey rules and all that, but I always had ideas of process and procedures to improve things. And I didn't have time to like, well, we got to run this through the board or we got to get approval. I'm like, let's implement this right now. So I can give a shout out to my corporate job. My site director, Mike Lee, he really instilled in me to really like just take charge, because I used to always come at him when I was the ops manager, with like, hey, can I do this or do this? And he trusted my instincts and ideas. And one thing he used to always tell me, Coil, is better to ask for permission, no, forgiveness than permission. Always. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And it took me a while to understand what he was saying. He was like, just do it, and that now I understand, just to do it. And then when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of us don't step into it because we really think like, okay, do I have to quit my job, or do I have to have enough money to transition over, or do I have to know this skill, or do I have to go get an MBA to do this? No, you don't. You just need the word from God. If God put it in your head to have that vision, then He definitely gave you the resources and the capabilities to bring it to fruition. So that really helped me for being an entrepreneur. And not only that, an entrepreneur to where I needed to help other people. I mean, it
mm,
wasn't like I wanted to be an entrepreneur just to sell something and get rich. There's no
mm.
such thing in my family as getting rich. We want to be
Yeah.
wealthy. We look to be
Yep.
wealthy so we can hand down that generational wealth. So that inspired me as just like, I have to do my own thing and also build an empire to leave for my children.
Mm. Yeah, that's the best way to go. And I feel you on that because I also do entrepreneurship too. So I feel you on that 100%. But Coral, I didn't have this question on my notes, but I want to ask you this: like
Mhm.
anybody who is an entrepreneur right now, what kind of tips that you want to give them?
Any tips for any entrepreneurs? Like, you got to start it. Like, you have to just start it. There's no perfect timing. I mean, I did that too myself. When I started the podcast, it was August
Mm,
20th, 2021. That was my first episode. But I had everything set up March 2021. So from March to August, I was looking for that perfect timing. And my wife had to snap me like, look, you already got things set. So I
mm,
wasted all that time when I was already ready. In August, I was ready in March. So
mm,
I say take action. When you have it all laid out, you're not going to know how it's going to turn out or how far or what cracks and crevices you need to fix until you actually start it. You won't figure nothing out
yep.
until you start. When you get the foundation, the only way you can figure out what's right or wrong is after you start whatever foundation you have. So I say start it, and then the last thing, most importantly, is write everything down from the
Mm,
beginning of your journey. Write down your ideas. When you start your journey, write down the moves you took, the timeline it took for you to do certain things, everything that you got that contributed to each step that you take. So when you write that down, you have a history book. So not only do you leave your kids an empire, you can leave them a black book, which is a
mm.
manual to go by from when you started.
Yes, yes, and thank you for sharing that. So you already mentioned this a little bit. Is the podcast. So before we get to visit vacant places with Coral, what inspired you to start a podcast? Dive more in deep into it.
Yeah, most definitely. So what inspired me to do the podcast is we started doing content for Google Maps reviews with
Mm,
small business owners in Las Vegas. But even to go before that, I was working delivering oxygen for a company, oxygen deliverer, and then also on part time I would do what is called it was Postmates back then. I don't know if they still exist, but I used to do Postmates, which deliver food, which is like what Uber Eats is now. So with Postmates, I would go to these places out here that I'd never been before, and I was like, you know what? I would jot them down. Like my family and I, we're coming here. So I'll go and take still pictures because I always like doing reviews and pictures and all that, but I'm not a photographer, which is crazy. But I always did these pictures and all that, and I'll write these nice, elegant reviews for Google Maps. And Google Maps told me like, "Hey, why don't you be a local?" But as I started doing this around the city started, recognizing what I was doing, and we'll go to these establishments, and then the business owners will come in before when we order, and my wife used to be like, they're calling the owner because they know you're here, and I'm like, I don't want that, I want it to be natural. So the owners will end up coming like, hey, nice to meet you, and I'll let them know, they already know what I'm doing. But we'll end up talking for like hours. Like my family will be sitting up with me. This was like many a months of doing this before the podcast started. And I remember coming home one day and I told my wife, like, man, I'm getting these pictures of the food, nice reviews, but then you hear the story. But what was also a blessing about that, my family would be sitting up to get to know what a business owner really is. And they'll see, like, I remember my son saying, like, business owners are just regular people that just took a risk, to get out there and serve the public. And I'm like, you're right. They live lives like us. They take risks like us, but their risk is a little bigger by, establishing a business for the public. So I'm thinking, you know what, there's got to be a way that I can share, more than just pictures of the food and letting them know if the food is good or not. But I want to give their story, that background, their trials and tribulations. I want to put that out so they can understand, the grind that they had to go through. And that's what birthed the podcast, doing research is like, how can I put our story out? And then there go the podcast. Because usually the podcast, people who do podcasts be like, yeah, I watched this, or Joe Rogan. I didn't know about none of that. When I started the podcast, I didn't even know about Joe Rogan. I didn't even know, certain podcasts. My first podcast was actually A Hot Dog is a Sandwich. That was my first podcast that I listened to and learned how to podcast. Shouts out to them. But The Hot Dog is a Sandwich was my first podcast. But also it taught me that I didn't want to be newsy. Like I didn't want to sound like a news trailer or a news channel that's trying to do a podcast where it sounds like exactly like what you see on TV or with that. I wanted it to be natural conversation. Like when I'm sitting down at these establishments, the business owners are telling me about the food, also what they're going through in their life, how much it is to keep this place running. If they was about to lose the place once, I wanted it to be a natural conversation like that on the podcast. And that's how I birthed it.
There you go, and that's dope. And thank you for thank you for starting the podcast. You know you are really killing it right now. So let's dive into Visit Vegas Places with Coral. Like, show us the origin story behind the podcast, and why is Vegas play a special part in this podcast?
Man, Vegas plays a special part because I've been here 21 years and I've seen it grow. And me coming from LA, I had LA. I was always around the wrong crowd out there, especially with music. And it was for some reason I was actually a signed artist. We was like almost there. Yeah, I was a signed artist there, and also did film. So I did back and forth in the film. So I did a couple of movies, a couple of TV shows also.
Oh, wow.
But that's where I got the knack for like doing film easily, and there's no problem doing content from that background. But when I came to Vegas, it was almost like a new beginning for me, thanks to my wife. Like that was a real new beginning for me to start over, and Vegas really embraced me. I don't think there was no other city like Las Vegas that embraced me, myself, and what I did, because I wasn't fully out of bondage when I came here to Vegas. So I still went through a little trials and tribulations trying to find who I truly was as a man out here in Vegas. And they shaped that for me. And there's nothing, this is the only way I can ever repay that back. I know it was all sent from God, but God put me here and told me I need to contribute this to the city to make sure I let people know that there's more to it than the Strip. And because the Strip was here first and everything else comes second that was built up. So I feel like it's my duty to make sure everybody knows about what's going on outside of the Strip. Because, of course, the Strip and the casinos, they have that covered, or they have creators who already have that covered. So I don't want to be in that pack of herds. I set myself different by making sure I take care of the locals.
Yeah. And, I look to visit Vegas places every week. You always do amazing things. And
Thank
with
you.
everybody who come on the show. So keep doing your thing. And also, I was on your show, too.
Right.
And I definitely had a good time on your show. And we dive into a lot. So once again, thank you for having me on your show. And, yeah. And then Visit Vegas Places is definitely a good show. And keep doing your thing, bro.
Thank you. You was one of my inspirations, though. Like, I remember I really got into you when we got on Good Pods. You know what I mean? Shouts out to JJ at Good Pods that created that. I think JJ know all of us, as far as the people. She knows all of us. She does.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for her platform, Good Pods, excuse me, I wouldn't have knew about you.
Yeah.
And then as I dwelled in deeper about you, like you was doing this before me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, his consistency, like you inspired me to like, hey, keep going. Whether if you have one download or 100 downloads, you got to focus on the podcast, not the
Yeah.
downloads. And
Yeah.
it was a lot of things for as far as consistency. I get that from you. I do.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, man, because it's not easy being consistent. Trust me, but
No, it's not.
when you know that you're doing something that you love, and you know you have a set goal to achieve, it's the only way to go. Because you never know where it could go. So, yeah, and thank you for that. And Good Part also helped me listen to your show as well, and a few others as well. So,
Right,
so
right.
we got to thank good. We really got to thank Good Pod. JJ and all of
Yeah.
them and the whole family. So yeah, and thank you for that, Coral. So
Yes, sir.
in my audience wanted to listen to Visit Vacant Places, where can they listen to it?
Yeah, you guys can tune in to Visit Vegas Places on any podcast streaming platform, whether if it's Good Pods, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart, Deezer, so many to list.
Word.
It is, but I'm on every platform. Again, you guys can check out the website also, which is visitvegasplaces.com. Visitvegasplaces.com. Also, you can actually just Google me. You can Google my name, Coyal, Coyal. You can Google Visit Vegas Places, and it will pop up. Thanks to the consistency, and shouts out to Google for making that happen.
That is dope, and that is dope. So one thing with our pocket, we face many great things and a whole lot of challenges. So what is one thing you love about podcasting, and what is something is your biggest challenge as a podcaster?
Yeah, that's a good question right there. Good question. So one thing that I do love about podcasting is that my podcast isn't about me. It's
Mm,
about business owners and other people. So I'm always looking, it's almost like because I was in music, I look at my podcast as a record label, and each
mm,
business owner I interview is the artist that I'm putting out there. So their business is the next hit to me that I got to make sure everyone listens to or tune into. And that's what I love about it because it gives me that same feeling like I'm doing music, but with the podcast. And then the one thing that I say that I dislike, I wouldn't say hate. There's nothing about podcasting I hate, but
yeah,
one
yeah,
thing that
yeah.
I do dislike that is overbearing sometimes. It is burdensome. Is I don't
Mm,
have a team yet, so I'm not there.
mm,
So I have to wear all hats. And my guy Nathan Atkins from 12th Habits, he told me something today. He says an entrepreneur has to wear all hats,
mm,
until you can take one off. And then
yeah.
you start taking one off at a time as you move up and elevate. So that's the one thing. So there's a lot of things that I gotta like line out and put in my days when I record the podcast. It's more to record, and I gotta edit it. I gotta have the content. I gotta answer these emails. I gotta make sure these subscriptions are paid. So the next thing I ask, if the Lord wills, if God can just, the next thing is just get a team. Whether if I get bring one or two people on that can help, and if I can get that help, I can really like get the business owners out more and real quicker. And then
Yeah.
also I do one episode every Friday because it's me. I do wish I could do two episodes where I can take
Mm,
care of more business owners.
yeah. Yeah. And I feel you on the team thing. I mean, I do got a team, but I do everything still. So like, yes, I completely get the mirror wearing many hats. And I'm pretty sure our team will come to you soon, man. I'm pretty sure our team will come to you soon.
Yes.
So my follow up question is, why is it important to support other podcasts, especially in the indie scene?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Also, so it's very important to support other podcasts because they're in the same boat. It's the same entertainment. It's almost like what we doing. I'm always refer back to music. This is
Yeah.
like you let me feature on the song. You got hits, and I'm like, hey, feature me on the song. Like how I
Yeah.
feature you on my album. So this
Facts.
is the same thing how I look at it. But one thing also with supporting other podcasters is when you support other podcasts, you can learn from each podcast. I
Yes.
learn.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
not one podcaster that I know that I haven't learned from, or they were
Hmm.
able to give me some advice when I asked for it, because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
understand what we're going through. Like everybody, podcasting is different because it's different from me talking to you about podcasts and then talking to
Yeah.
somebody who just uploads a show on YouTube saying that's a
Exactly.
podcast.
Yeah.
That's not a
Yeah.
podcast. You just
I agree.
uploading on
I
you
agree.
right. You're just uploading videos on YouTube. Is not a podcast. I
Hmm.
need you to be on Spotify. I need you to
Yes.
be, on all the directories. What is your
Yep.
host? Who is your host? If you don't
Exactly.
have all that, then I'm speaking Spanish to you, and you're not understanding
Exactly.
what I'm saying. So it's very important to support other podcasters. Also, get on as many shows as you can with
Yep.
other
Yep.
podcasters because they have each one has a different audience. That's the
Yep.
beauty of podcasts is each one of us has our own community, our own audience. And if you're creative to find a way to where I can interview you and it resonates with what I do, like your podcast, our session did well, and you're not
Yeah.
even here in Vegas. So that means we found the way that I know what my audience needs that I can pull out of you that my audience needs. And
Yeah.
most of our audience also, what I think we also never pay attention to being seasoned podcasters is
Hmm.
that our audience are people who want a podcast.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know what
Yep.
I
That's
mean?
true.
There
Yeah.
are people that really want a podcast. Like my audience are business owners, might not be business owners that want to get on show, but business owners that like thinking like, how can I start a podcast? I've been
Yeah.
following Coil. Let me listen to what hopefully he gives us some, nuggets on where we can start on podcasting. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one thing that's why it's important because iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, that's a fact. And you right now, I support a lot of people, and a whole lot of people doing amazing things. So it's all I feel like it's all you good to support. Cause you never know where it could take us. We go all win together. There's no competition in this.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. I love supporting. So yeah, you know. But what is one major goal that you want to achieve as a podcaster, and what message you want to bring to your audience?
So the goal I wanted to achieve as a podcaster is to create jobs, get a
Mm,
team, and I want to create jobs for those who are into the podcast industry to evolve it and also create jobs for content creators so they
yeah,
can create content and everything. So that is my goal. Is by next year I can create jobs, here in the city of Las Vegas for
amazing.
creators to do have fun but get paid while having fun, and And then what was that last question?
What message you want to bring to your audience?
Oh, the message I want to bring to my audience is there's more to it than the strip. We live out
Mm,
here. Everybody that's not from out here or never been out here, they think we live in casinos. Our life is
mm.
plush. It's not. It's hot as hell, and sometimes it gets hard out here. So
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
we live life like any other city. There's poverty ridden cities out here. Of course, we have our suburbs, but outside of the strip and the casinos, we live life.
Mm. Yeah, there you go, there you go. So I know one thing. You interview a lot of people on your show, a lot of business owners and stuff like that. So if you had to pick three people that you always want to interview, who is your dream guest? Who would these three people be? It could be anybody.
Um, I'll say, man, three people. That's hard.
I know,
It
always
is
gets.
because, like, in a sense, like, where me, I'm kind of weird. Like, we had a talk about this the other day because I don't really care to enter celebrities, and all
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Because I'm focused. I like to create a celebrity. I want to
Mm.
create that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because if I interview a celebrity, that means I'm trying to do that for views or I'm trying to do that for people, and I don't want that kind of like attention.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but to be honest with you, if I was to could interview the first person that I would interview if I could would be my pastor,
Mm,
Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant.
mm,
He would be first on the list. The second on the list would definitely be Obama. I would love to
mm.
interview
Yep.
Obama.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the last one on the list would be Warren Buffett. I would love to
Mm.
interview him.
Good picks. And Obama's on my list too, actually. Obama's on my list too. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely one person I want to interview, definitely. But yeah, those are good picks. Those are good picks.
Appreciate it.
So one thing that I talk about on my show a lot now is mental health because we all been through it. Whether it's about this recent election, whether it's about life in general, and everything. So my question to you is, why is mental health so important, and what challenges have you been dealing with mental health?
With mental health, well, what challenges I've been dealing with was basically I just got out and started. A lot of people don't talk about this, but when I started, it was the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Wondering like, am I good enough to be able to interview business owners and elevate them? Not these aren't regular people.
Yeah.
These are business owners. So in a sense, they have to trust me to know that I'm going to ask them the right questions, and also trust me with their business in their hand, which they're giving me an insight to their business, which not the public really sees, to know that I'm going to represent that and present it right to the public. So with the mental health, I got to stay stabilized, but also what hardest thing is balancing that work and family, life. So just making sure that I'm just really getting to discipline myself to like, hey, even if I'm not done, when it's time to stop, it's time to stop. I got to get
Yeah,
to my
yeah,
family. I can't just keep going overboard and overboard every day because it's going to be non-continuous. You got to
yeah,
have some kind of cutoff, some discipline. Just like when you go to a job, they're not going to let you just keep racking in overtime. So why would you
yeah.
do that to yourself? So
Facts.
you have to know when your shift ends and really end your shift.
Yeah, yeah. And I could relate to the whole imposter syndrome because I dealt with that also when I first started my show. Like wondering if people going to listen, wondering like you good enough for the audience and people you interview. So I get that 100%. And I dealt with that as well. And yeah, and also burned out is real too. Burned out is
Yes, it
real.
is. Yes, it
So
is. Yeah.
I dealt with that plenty of times on the show. And as much as I love the show, I dealt with burned out a lot. And that's why taking breaks is so important because you could reset your mind. You could set your mind and then pretty much restart yourself. So yeah,
Correct.
and yeah, mental health is very important. I think everybody should talk about. That's why I talk about on my show now. Yeah, but thank you for sharing that, Coral. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's switch the gears a little bit. So, what is your dream venture? Something that you always want to do but you haven't done yet.
Go to Denver in the snow. I never, been there. Since I was young. I don't know why it was weird, but I always wanted to go to Denver. And I always been a Raiders fan, but I had a little love hidden for the Denver Broncos, especially in the Elway days. But for
Yeah.
some reason, I don't know why God put Denver in my heart, but I always just wanted to go to Denver and go in the snow, go in the cabins, go skiing and all that. But I never been to Denver.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, I've never been to Denver either. So I feel you. I feel you on that 100%. So we definitely got to make that happen. Definitely got to make that happen. So, what other project that you got going on that you have not spoke about yet?
So the project that I have going on that I haven't spoke about yet is really elevating my affiliate programs, which I create content for. There's brands that I'm affiliate partner with, which I really don't spend time. It's crazy because that's what brings income in to keep the show going. But I focus on the show, which really doesn't bring income in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's passion over profit for me. So again, that's where it goes to where I need a team to be able to introduce them to that in different ways that you can bring in income. And then, when I tell people that just in general, it's hard to tell anybody that. They're always
Yeah.
asking me like, why you don't have no program or no coaching,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or none of that. And I'm like, nah, because I was always offered those. I didn't got when I started. I didn't bought so many of those coaching programs
Mm,
and everything. So I didn't want to be that kind of person to be selling a coaching program down
yeah. Yeah.
somebody. If I'm going to teach you the game, I'm going to teach you the game. But
Exactly.
but other than that, that's the next thing that I really have, going. But also a book that I'm writing with my daughter, and
Nice.
it's teaching kids on how to be kind. So we're
Mm,
trying to finish that off and get that published.
nice. When that book come out, I gotta bring it back because we gotta have that
Thank you,
conversation. That's really
thank
dope.
you.
That's really dope.
Yeah,
So, what do you have to say for anybody going the same route as you? Say something inspirational for everybody else, entrepreneur, and a podcaster, everything. Say something inspirational.
yeah. No matter what you do, just do it, and no matter what people think of you, whether if they like you or they don't like you, whether if they love you or don't, or however they think of you, it's none of your business. Believe me,
Mm,
it's none of your business.
mm,
So you'll be quick to ponder on it, but you got to quickly check yourself and understand that it's none of your business how people feel or how they think about you.
there you go. And that's a good advice. Thank you for sharing that. So,
Hmm.
before you go, Coral, we're gonna play a segment game. And we're gonna play
Okay.
this game called Five Random Topics. We're actually five random topics, and it could be a short or long response. And I will join in on you with you on this. I know you do something like that on a show called This and That, but
Right.
this is my segment show called Five Random
Okay.
Topics. So let me
Let's
know
do
you
it.
are you
Let's
ready?
do it. Yeah.
All right. So I know one thing you always talk about this when you do your this and that, and it's about food. What is your
Okay.
favorite food?
Mexican. Mexican food.
Good choice. Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
I know for me, I'm gonna say Thai food, Caribbean food, and soul food. Those are like my
Okay.
favorite.
All
Yeah,
right.
those are my
All right.
favorite.
Yeah, I love a good carne asada burrito and
Mm,
carne asada fries.
mm. Yeah, that sounds good. I do like Mexican food too, though. I do like Mexican food too. All right. So my next question is, what was the last movie you saw in theaters?
The last movie I saw?
In theaters, yeah, in movie theaters.
Oh, in theaters. Wow. Damn, it's been a while. Oh man, you got me on that one. What was the last one I saw? I want to say it was one of the old Final Destinations. This was
Mm.
back in the days,
Oh wow.
right?
Oh wow.
That
Dang.
lets you know. That lets you know how long I've been to the movies. Yeah, I really don't do the movies, man. It's that's weird though. I know because my wife, when they go on the daughter and mommy dates, that's what they do is the movies. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't go to the movies and all that. And that's weird that you said that because I don't really go to the movies. I really don't look at TV either.
Mm,
There's certain shows I look at, which is
yeah,
through my coach, and they tell me to look at these certain shows for entrepreneurs. But just
yeah.
on general purpose, just
Mm,
flipping through the channel, I got rid of that habit.
mm. I know for me, it's funny that you mentioned Final Destination because the last
Hmm.
movie I saw was the newest version of Final Destination, which came out like in May. So
Okay.
that was funny. That was funny. That was funny that you mentioned that.
What
That
what
Final
number
Destination.
is it on now? What is it?
This is six. This is
Six.
six.
So I
Yeah.
think I went. It was either 4 or 5. The
Mm.
last one. Yeah. Yeah.
It was 4 or 5. I mean, that came out like in
I
twenty.
think it was 4. Yeah. It was long. It was about. Yeah. It was 4. I
And
think it was
then
4.
then probably was 2016. 2016. I think it was 2016. That's a long time. That's a long
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So next one is, what favorite artist that you want to see a new album from?
Good question. An artist that I would want to see a new album from would most
Yeah.
likely be it's gonna be old school for me. I'll say, man, that's a good one. I'll say actually Jay-Z, because it would have been Ice Cube, but he drops new albums each time.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I like about him. But Jay-Z, I would love to
Mm,
see a new one from him to hear what he has to say.
mm,
Like I want the right now Jay-Z though.
yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you. Jay Z is on my list too. Jay Z is on my list
Right.
too. But
Yeah.
but for me, of course, if Michael Jackson was still alive, I would love to see a new album from Michael Jackson if he was still
Most
alive.
definitely. Most definitely.
And my other person, I would say Frank Ocean. Since he don't put out albums
Mm,
consistency, he only put out like every 7 years.
right.
So he another person I want to see a new album from.
And while you're speaking on I would love someone who's resting in pieces. Aaliyah, that's my girl.
Oh, me
I would
too.
love to hear
Yeah,
Aaliyah right now with an album. I know she'll be
me
ringing
too.
top. So I would
Me
love to
too.
hear what
Yeah.
Aaliyah had, if she was here right now.
I agree. That shoot, I just imagine I knew Alpha Leah if she was still alive. That would be,
Man,
mm,
yes, yes,
that'd
deep.
be crazy. Yes, it would. It would. All right. So my fourth question is, what's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday, that's a good one. I'm not really big on holidays. I'll say Christmas though,
Mm,
because I used to didn't like Christmas. I did
yeah,
when I was younger, but you remember I mentioned I was a teenage father, and I
yeah,
can
yeah,
remember
yeah.
Christmas come by. I used to didn't be able to get the gifts and things that I could for my
Mm,
son,
yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah,
for my family. So it
yeah,
was a while that I used to like have this awkward feeling about Christmas, and then
yeah,
I met my wife, and we have our family and everything, and it's been times we was struggling. She made Christmas happen, and then
mm,
just growing as a man, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have that feeling again. So I look forward to
yeah,
Christmas to make sure they have a smile. And my mom used to always say when we were growing up, we used to always I used to ask her, "What you want for Christmas, Mom?" She used to always say, "Just you guys. That's all I
yeah,
need." And I used to always like, "Come on, Mom, like let's get serious." But she used
yeah,
to
yeah,
be serious, like, "Nah, for real, just you guys, long as you guys." And now I deeply understand what she meant.
yeah, yeah. And I actually agree with you. Christmas is mine too. For family. for the winter activities,
Hmm.
and many things like that. So I agree with you on the Christmas end. That's definitely a good the meaning for it. That's definitely a good meaning for it. And my last question is, who is a podcaster you want to work with that you have not worked with yet? Give me three of your on your wish list. It could be a mainstream or indie.
Okay. What's her name from? Well, Miss Whitman from They Call Me Daddy. So
Mm.
her, she's in our little podcast, Good Pods group. She be
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like her because she's consistent. And
Yeah.
also, I like the Geek podcast, the Geeky Dad
Geeky
podcast. I
Daddy.
like
Yeah, yeah,
him. He's consistent too.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like how he does the implement with the kids and all that. He's the first one I seen to do that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
the last one would definitely be Mel Robbins, the mainstream one. So I love Mel Robbins, her books. I love her content, her motivation, her inspiration. I would love to collaborate with Mel Robbins.
Mm. Yeah, those are good picks. And two of them are right on my show. Better Call Daddy and Ricky Dad. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Okay.
They family over here. They family over here.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Yeah. So if I had to pick my three, I know this one person already been on your show already. He haven't been on my show yet, or you've been on his show. But we were working on him and his wife come on my show. Things About Us podcast, Billy and Fiona. That's one I want to work
Oh
with.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's one of
Yes.
them, of
Yes.
course. Family right there, family right there.
Okay.
This other podcast called Pedal Support, Mama D. She always gives
Mm.
good advice. She been on my wish list for a minute.
Okay.
And the third, who was the third? It's hard to do this because there's a lot of people I listen to, and if I had to pick a lot of people, I have a lot of people I want on my show. So this is hard, but that is hard. I can't even pick. It'd probably be somebody mainstream. Not Joe Rogan, not Joe Rogan,
Right.
but somebody mainstream who doing maybe Joe Button. Maybe Joe Button.
Mm.
Maybe Joe Button would be a good guest to have on the show to work with in the future. Because everybody, I know a lot of people don't agree with him when he talks
Hmm.
sometimes, but Joe Button keep it real. So I would
Right.
say I would say Joe Button. I would say Joe Button had Joe Button on my show. But Coral, thank you for coming to the show. Debbie was a
Yes.
really dope conversation. Thank you that we finally got to do this. For
Right.
me being on your show first and then you come on my show. So thank you. And we're definitely gonna bring you back for a future episode of Mr. Gentleman, like that podcast.
Here.
And keep doing amazing things. And thank you for coming on, bro.
Oh man, I appreciate you. Likewise, you too, man. You keep doing what you're doing with that consistency. Like I said, you motivated me for us the consistency, and my door is open, man. You need anything, you need me to do anything, I'm right here. You got the number. You just contact me, and I'm there.
Yeah, you already know it, bro. And thank you again for coming on. But Corey, before you go, drop your
Hmm.
social media where they can reach you and drop where they can listen to Visit Vacant Places with Coral. This is your time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you guys can reach me on all social media handles under Visit Vegas Places. You can go to the website also, which is visitvegasplaces.com. And of course, the podcast airs a new business owner every Friday. Every Friday, we air a new business owners, whether if you listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, or Amazon. We're on all streaming platforms. You could just search Visit Vegas Places with Coyal. And again, everything's about Las Vegas. Shop local, support local, buy local. And also remember, if you can't find any of those resources, you can always get the trusty Google and you just Google search me, Visit Vegas Places with Coyal or Coyal, Coyal.
All right, there you go. And check out Visit Vacant Places every Fridays on all podcast platforms. Thank you, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman. Now, I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spin-off Series Thursdays. And Spin-off Series Thursday is the new home for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spin-off Series that brought to you shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, The Old School Show, and Date Night Talk Podcast. And A Conversation About Music podcast is a music spin-off series where we talk about anything music, from the current music scene and the old school music scene, where we interview many guests that's in the music industry and artists about their music journey. We have a segment game called The Face Off, which is a versus inspired game, and we have roundtable discussion about variety of music topics. And y'all can check out A Conversation About Music podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Now, the old school show that featured myself and the star Roddy Rod is a show where we discuss anything old school, from music, TV shows, movies, and many more. We also bring in guests to join in on the old school conversation. Y'all can check out the old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. Every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And last but not least, we have Date Night Talk podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, where we talk about anything relationship related topics like love, dating, relationships, cheating, the good and the bad, and many more. And y'all can check out this spin-off series, Date Night Talk podcast, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. So look out for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents spin-off series Thursday, A Conversation About Music podcast every first Thursday. The old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursdays, and Date Night Talk podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays. And y'all can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays. And thank y'all for checking out this commercial break. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. True! I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning in to this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thanks to my special guest, Coyal, for coming to the show. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for the amazing conversation. Thank you for coming on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. This was a really dope conversation, and thank you for coming on the show. And you already know, check out Visit Vegas Places with Coyal every Fridays at 12 a.m. Eastern. And you can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series, every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays, where we have shows like a conversation about music every first Thursday at 12 p.m. Date Night Talk podcast with myself, Miss Vanna B, every third Thursday at 12 p.m. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Rider Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. And look out for the newest spin-off series Thursday show, the Top 20 Countdown Show, the series with myself and Jalen, coming in September 11th and every second Thursday at 12 a.m. Check out all the spin-off series Thursday show, a part of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Network. You can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pods, and many more. Y'all can rate the show 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pods, and Podchases. The more y'all rate the show, more people know about Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. If you want to be a guest on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, send me a bio about yourself and everything that you do to my email, KenYPGENT@gmail.com, or hit me up on social media, Ken_Mr. Gentleman. I repeat, Ken, Ken_Mr. MR, Gentleman, GENTLEMAN, and we can set something up. I am still looking for guests for season 9 of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast and all of the spin-off series Thursday shows. You can also check me out on the Premier Boys podcast with myself, Aaron King Tok Sands, the Star Rider Rod, and Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal. New season of the Premier Boys podcast coming real soon. And every Wednesdays, part of the Premier Powerverse Network. Other show you can check out on the Premier Powerverse Network, King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron King Talk Sands. You can check out all episodes right now. And check out his newest show, After Hours with Aaron Sands, coming soon. You can check out Star Time Podcast hosted by the Star Rider Rod. Check out all episodes right now on all podcast platforms. And look out for new episodes of Welcome to the Trilogy hosted by Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal. New episodes coming real soon. Listen and support every show in the Premier Powerverse. And at this time, it's time for everybody's favorite segment. It's time for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Shoutouts, where we shout out 4 to 5 shows and we get them their flowers. And the first show that we're going to talk about is Fadeaway Talk with Tim, hosted by Tim. And on this show, he discussed meaningful discussion on culture, relationships, lesson in the game of life. This show had not been released yet, but he had a previously show called Real Talk with Tim, and this is like a follow up to that show. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this show gonna be about. And look out for Fadeaway Talk with Tim coming real soon. And follow him on social media, Fadeaway Talk with Kid Tim. Let him get his followers back up and support him, man. He a cool dude. Support him. Next show that we're gonna talk about is our today guest show, Visit Vegas Places with Coyal. And on this show, he interviews many entrepreneurs in the Las Vegas area and sometimes interview other entrepreneurs in other areas as well. I was on Visit Vegas Places earlier this year and we had an amazing conversation about podcasting, the show, and everything. And it was a really dope conversation. And y'all should also check out Visit Vegas Places. Come on every Friday on all podcast platforms. If you're an entrepreneur and you need a platform to get on, hit up Coyal. He got you. So check out Visit Vegas Places with Coyal. The next show that we're going to talk about is Better Call Daddy podcast, hosted by Rena Freeman Watts. On this show, she interviewed many people about their life and everything that they are doing. And at the end of every show, her father gave her guests advice. And this show is really dope. I was also on this show too. So shout out to Rena and her father. Good show. And they are killing it. She got like over 400 episodes. So y'all got a lot to choose from. And check out Better Call Daddy podcast. And the next show we're going to talk about is the Geeky Dad podcast, hosted by Raphael and his family. And on this show, he discussed many different things from video games, movie, TV show, cartoon, Marvel, DC, and many, many more. And this is always a fun show to listen to. And I also was on the show as well, and we discussed many topics as well, which was so fun being on his show. And check out the Geeky Dad podcast. Also, check out his spin-off shows as well. The Geeky Dad After Dark, which is more explicit, where they talk about movies, TV shows, and many more. A show with him and his wife. And then we got the Multiverse Kids show, which more about video games and many more. So support the Geeky Dad podcast, which is also a part of the Unfiltered Studios network. So shout out to the Geeky Dad podcast. And last but not least, I will be shouting out Pedal Support, where she gives many life lessons to all her audience, and she interviewed many guests when she had this segment called The Sleepover. And you know, it's always good to listen to her show, and she always supports Mr. Gentleman like her podcast. So shout out to Mama D. And I can't wait to come to your show. We definitely got to make that happen, and we need to have you on this show as well. But shout out to Pedal Support, who is also a part of the Unfiltered Studio Network. They are killing it right now. And shout out to Pedal Support. And check out the 5 shows that I just mentioned. Fairway Talk with Tim, which is coming real soon. Visit Vegas Places with Coyal. Better Call Daddy podcast. The Geeky Dad podcast. And Pedal of Support podcast. And that is this week, Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle shoutouts. Chill! And of course, add me on Good Pods, Ken, Mr. Gentleman. You can see what everybody listen to. We can rate each other's show. And we had the charts. And at the time for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Achievements, where we spotlight everything Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast is doing. And of course, we got the charts. And for top 100 shows, we are number 40 on the number charts. For the indies, we are number 10 on the indies. For society and culture, on the normal chart, we are number 7. And for the indies, we are number 1. We've been number 1 for 5 days on the indie charts. And for personal journal, we are number 1. We've been number 1 for 6 days. So thank you everybody who's been listening to Mr. Gentleman, like that podcast on Good Pod. Really means a lot, and continue to support Mr. Gentleman, like that podcast. I also just found out that Mr. Gentleman, like that podcast, is a part of the top 2.5% globally. And honestly, thank you everybody that been listening to Mr. Gentleman, like that podcast for the last 6 years. You know, it really means a lot. And honestly, if it wasn't for y'all, the show would not kept going. So thank y'all, man. Thank you to continue to help the show grow and help it become the show that, you know, that y'all love. So once again, thank you everybody that always support Mr. Gentleman, Lifestyle Podcast from day one. It really means a lot. And thank y'all. And of course, at the official website of Mr. Gentleman, Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. You can check out every episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, all 251 episodes of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. You can check out every guest who's been on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, all 81 guests. And we just added Coyal guest profile. You can check out his guest profile right now. Since now that his episode is released, you can check out his guest profile right now. You can watch every video of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, from the audio version from Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV, from Mr. Gentleman Fact Quote of the Day, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel. Check out all guest appearances that I've been on. You can check out more guest appearances coming real soon. And of course, check out the official merch of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. www.mrgentlemanlifestylepodcaststore.dasher.com, where we have shirts, hoodies, mug, hats, and many more. Support the official merch store so we can upgrade your listening experiences. So check out the official merch store of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. www.mrgentlemanlifestylepodcaststore.dasher.com. Check out the official website of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning into this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. You know, it really, really means a lot. So once again, thank you everybody for continuing to ride with Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. On the next episode, we have a solo episode, and pretty much, how did we get here? I'm gonna leave y'all to think what that means when y'all find out on the next week episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Have a good day or night wherever you're listening to this episode.
Well, my name is Rafael Moran, and I'm the host of the Geeky Dad Podcast, and you're listening to the Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.